The reason you keep falling off track has absolutely nothing to do with motivation, and it has nothing to do with discipline. I used to think that discipline meant sticking to the plan all the time. I would always have a plan, and now I don't think this is a bad thing, because here's the thing: you have a goal, and your habits, your structure, and your day-to-day routine, the little things you do, are the things that are going to get you to that goal. You have to look at yourself and ask yourself, what habits am I doing that is not going to achieve that goal? And what habits do I need to bring into my life that is going to achieve that goal? We have to rewire the mind, and we have to bring in a new way of living. Now, here's the thing. I used to think that that meant writing out routines, writing out lists, and being so disciplined and sticking to the structure and the plan all the time. In one sense, this is good, and this will get you to where you want to go. But let's be completely honest with ourselves. Life is always going to happen. There is always going to be an appointment, or the kids are going to need us, or something's going to happen, or you're going to have a bad day. And so if you rely on that plan being so rigid all the time, it's going to be really hard to stick to it consistently. I have a checklist every single day that I want to get through. It's okay whether I do it in the morning, whether I do it in the evening. But when we start to fall off the wagon, instead of beating ourselves up and being like, oh, well, I didn't do that, and now it's going to ruin the rest of my day, we have to come back to our emotions, come back to ourselves, come back to our body, and get ourselves back on track. Now, highly successful people don't always stick to the routine. They are prepared for anything to come their way. They are prepared to complete the tasks, the habits, and the goals that need to be completed, even when life happens. It is okay if you don't wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and get all the things done. What is not okay is to say you're going to do something, promise yourself something, and then not do it just because something in life happens. I would constantly make excuses when something didn't go right because I was too busy focusing on an exact structure, routine, and plan. Now, if you can get yourself to a place where you are prepared to be flexible within your routine, then that's when you're going to win. Let's take it back to what's really going on here. So you have a structure and a plan, and you're trying to embody this new structure and plan into your routine, right? You're trying to, you're meant for more, and you're trying to reach your goals, and you're trying to reach your aspirations, and you're trying to get to the place that you want to go. So in order to get there, I need to change my life. Now, here's the thing. The brain is like a computer system. It is wired to do the same thing every single day. It doesn't matter whether it's good for you or not good for you. It loves familiarity. So what we have to do is we have to give the mind proof that it is safe and it is okay to do something new. And now, how do we do that? We repetitively do it. We keep doing the same thing over and over and over until it starts to get us to where we want to go. But like I say, life is always going to happen. I don't care how much healing you do. I don't care how much mindset work you do. I don't care how many books you read or how many people you watch or podcasts you listen to. Life is going to happen. You have to be prepared to still do the things that you need to do even when life happens. And now, if you're not able to tick off that checklist first thing in the morning, you have the afternoon. And your mind is going to tell you, oh, I failed, so I'm not going to do it now. And this is why people do things for about 3 months and then they fall off the bandwagon. Because the mind loves familiarity. It loves to go back to what it once was. If you can tell yourself, I am okay to be flexible, we are still going to get the things done, even when something occurs in life. I'm not going to make every single failure or every single bad day mean something. And this is what I see a lot of people doing. They have a bad day, they get angry, they get into their emotions, and they stay stuck in that emotion rather than looking at the bigger picture of the goal. You have to have failures, right? You have to have failures in order to learn from those failures. The version that you are now needs to change up in order to become the version that you want to be. Now, that person doesn't necessarily need to be disciplined, running 1,000,000 miles an hour and following an exact plan and structure all the time. That person needs to be open-minded enough to say, okay, things didn't go right today. We're going to shift the plan and we're going to change it slightly, but we're not going to lose the vision. Success comes from discipline with flexibility. You want to make your routine and your goals and your checklist of the day such a habit that it doesn't matter what happens within your day, you know you're still going to complete it. Right? If you end up waking up a little bit later and you have to get the kids ready for school and you're rushing around getting the kids ready for school, you're still going to find time to go brush your teeth, right? Because it's a habit that has been instilled into you since you were a young child. And the same thing has to happen with the routines and structures that you want to place into your life to reach your goals. And this is where we really have to look at how we're living our life, because we need to rewire the mind in order to think this is our new normal. And regardless of what happens, we're still going to make sure we do those things, but it just may look a little bit different than what the routine or checklist is written out like. It doesn't mean that we don't do it at all. It just means we have to be open-minded enough to do it at a different point in our day. I have a checklist, a goal list of 8 things that I need to do each day. Now, the way I used to plan this out is I used to be like, right, I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock and then at 5:15 I'm going to do this, and at 6 o'clock I'm going to do this and that and that. It doesn't work like that long term. Now what I do is I have my list and I know I need to get through that at some point in the day. And I may find in the morning that I have to take the baby to a dentist appointment. So I can't do what I needed to do in the morning anymore, right? But I can do it later on. I can do it in the evening. It's about being flexible to the circumstances that are occurring and to your own energy. Some days you are going to have a really high capacity to be able to hold more. Your battery is going to be at 100% and you're like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And then other days it's going to be at 20%. So it's looking at those goals and going, okay, how can we adapt them to the day that is going on right now or to my energy? Instead of doing a 60-minute workout to reach those health goals, let's go do a 20-minute walk instead. Instead of sitting down and making an hour worth of content, a whole week worth of content, let's just do one day and then we'll look at the schedule for the rest of the week. Be flexible, be open-minded, because the mind, like I say, loves a pattern. It loves to do the same thing over and over and over. But when you are trying to switch that pattern, when you're trying to change the habits, it's always going to try and slip back into its old ones, because that is what is familiar to the mind. So if you can be open to the fact of, okay, subconsciously, I'm slipping into my old patterns, but I am open enough to know that I can still do it and I can still reach the goals that I want to reach, and I can still achieve those daily things that I need to do to get me to where I want to go, regardless of what's happening. You have to have those failures. You have to have those moments that knock you down in order for you to get back up again stronger. You will have days where you didn't get anything done. We have to move past them as quick as possible. When you stay in your emotions and in your feelings, it's so much easier to slip back into those old habits, the habits that have got you to where you don't want to be. One of the most important things I have learned is to do the things you don't want to do as quick as possible. The other thing I have learned is to have as much flexibility in your day as possible. Be prepared for anything. Know that your structure and your goals are going to get you to where you want to go. So when life occurs, be ready to adapt yourself to the circumstance. I hope this video has helped you, and I will see you again tomorrow.